Welcome to another episode of We Should Have Coffee. This is a place where we build each other up as kind strangers on the internet, as a community, as internet besties, and perhaps most importantly, as women supporting women over our love of coffee. My name is Steph.
And my name is Jay.
And I'm going to be your host for this episode. I'm a creative from Canada, and I have a travel and lifestyle blog where I share my adventures outside of my corporate working hours. I'm a self taught photographer, love solo adventures and travel, and I'm always hoping to inspire you to be growing, learning, and getting out of your comfort zone through my visual storytelling. One of my favorite quotes is that you are always one decision away from creating a totally different life, and I'm here to share that journey with you. As always, I'm joined with my co host, Jay. Jay, would you tell us a little bit about yourself?
I would love to, Steph. Oh, I can't beat that intro though. That was good. So I run a blog called Loki Nearly 30, where I share my journey through self-discovery before 30, whilst balancing my love for jiu-jitsu, wearing cute outfits, and starting my small business.
Thank you so much, Jay. In this episode, we are talking about our wellness goals, where we chat about our own physical activity routines, how we balance being active, and how we overcome any challenges when it comes to exploring new activities or developing a healthy fitness routine or goal. And as always, we'll end the episode with writing a goal together, and I'll be putting Jay on the spot with a Spitfire question round at the end.
Redemption time.
Yes, exactly. And so by the end of the episode, we hope to inspire you to try new activities as we know how hard it is to put yourself out there when it comes to finding a fitness routine that is not only enjoyable, but helps you stay consistent in leading you to becoming the healthiest version of yourself this year. So, Jay, I'm just so curious. Like, what's your current fitness routine?
So from a Monday to Sunday week, I am primarily doing my sport, which is Brazilian Jiu Jitsu, like you mentioned. Um, on a Monday, for example, I'm at training from 6 p.m. till 9. On Tuesday, I'm there from 6 p.m. till 9. On Wednesday, I try to do like a conventional gym sesh for maybe like an hour, but sometimes I don't. On Thursday, I'm there from 6 till 9. On Friday, I'll do the opposite of whatever I worked on Wednesday for conventional gym. So if I did chest on Wednesday, then I'll do legs on Friday. And then Saturdays, I'm there from 10 to 12 in terms of jiu-jitsu. And then Sundays is my day off. So I'm actually active like all the time. But the
Wow.
craziest thing about jiu-jitsu is that I don't feel like I'm exercising, even though I am.
Mm.
And maybe if I'm there from 6 till 9, then maybe only half of that is when I'm actually, I mean, I'm physically active throughout the whole thing. But if I can bring up an analogy, half of that time I'm walking and the other half I'm running, sort of thing.
Mm.
Steph, I'm excited to know what your fitness routine is. Let us know what you do throughout the week.
Okay. I feel like sometimes it's always a little bit different because I think I said before, I'm somebody that just likes to dabble into everything and learn new things. So, but my like staple kind of like weekly routine is that I go to a fitness studio called F45. Do you guys have one there in Australia? Yeah.
Yeah, we
Oh,
do.
have you ever tried it?
Yeah.
Yeah, I love it. That's what I've been doing for the past, I want to say, year. And so for those that don't know, F45 is basically I think it's called functional 45. 45 minutes is the class. It's a group class and you're kind of cycling through different like stations, I guess. And it could be really anything from, if it's a cardio day, you could have the rower out, the ski erg. You do like some like hit body workouts. Strength days are pretty much deadlifts, chest presses, things like that. It's really great, just like overall strengthening. My goal is 5 days a week. I feel like I usually hit 4 days. to go. So I think I probably go Monday to Thursday is my usual, and I try to make Fridays.
I like the F45s because when I go in there, I just don't have to think about it. Like somebody has laid it out for me, and I just literally I just turn off my brain and I do the thing.
Exactly. It's just so much better. Like, sure, I could go to the gym, and I feel like I've been to the gym and had multiple memberships in the past, but there's something about just entering a class and not having to think about it and just doing the thing, and then you get out.
And that is the mindset that you definitely don't bring in jiu-jitsu. It's not really a space where you go in and you snooze through a class and then you do your workout and then you leave.
Mm,
It's something that you really have to be switched on to.
mhm,
I mean, that doesn't mean that people don't do that. A lot of people do that,
mhm,
but you'll see a lot more progress
mhm.
if you are switched on.
Yeah, almost like I'm just thinking it's probably, I wonder. So I used to be a dancer, and like that is probably another area where you go into that, you can't really switch off, right? Like you're learning and you're growing and you're kind of learning new techniques, and you're exploring your creativity. So I can understand a little bit about, the mindset going into a jujitsu practice then. So tell me a little bit about, because I'm so curious, like I've never done BJJ before. What is it, and like what got you into that?
Ooh, that's a great question. I actually, you pulled up a quote during your intro where it's like you're one decision away from changing your life. And for me, Brazilian Jiu Jitsu, choosing to do Brazilian Jiu Jitsu was definitely it. That decision came out during COVID lockdown when one of my family friends didn't have anybody to train with because it's a funny sport where you're primarily fighting by yourself. So it's like a grappling sport, but you have to have team members to help you, build your confidence, build your technique, and eventually try and beat them. So you can't really train. You can kind of do techniques by yourself, but you can't really train to get better without somebody else. So because we were family friends and it was during lockdown, we were the only people that could meet up. So during the lockdown period, uh, we would like come over and we would like roll around. I was having fun. It wasn't anything serious until lockdown finally eased, and then we trained at the same gym, and I was totally hooked. I was going pretty much 6 days a week. Now I've only cut it to like four.
Still though, like you're just talking a little bit about your like routine, right? Like your day to day, like what does Monday to the weekends look like? That's a lot of practices.
I know when I say it out loud, I'm like, actually, hold up. Why do I go every day? But hey, that's my that's my physical activity.
Wow, I love that.
I want to know more about dancing. Is this a good time to ask?
Sure, yeah, for sure.
What
Go
kind
for
of
it.
dancing did you do?
Yeah, and
Okay, tell me more.
okay, okay. You know, so I started dance when I was 14. The type of dance I did was ballet and contemporary. I stuck with it honestly really until the pandemic.
Wow, no
Yeah,
way.
yeah, and that's kind of when I stopped, when all the classes were then like virtual dance classes, and I decided just to take a little bit of a break from there. And so yeah, I haven't danced in a few years. There are thoughts of like me wanting to go back into it just for fun, and I've always been dancing for fun as well. Yeah, but like when I was younger, I would be at a studio, and we'd have shows at the end of the year. So yeah, mainly I did ballet and contemporary, and then hoping to get back into it, but also the amount of time I have, um, I'll see where I can slot that in.
Let me pencil that in for
Yeah.
next year.
Yeah, exactly, right? So how did you know that you were like hooked? Like what do you love about it?
People who are really good at jiu-jitsu are also really philosophical. And I can understand why. The things that you learn in jiu-jitsu are so transferable to life lessons. For example, in jiu-jitsu, you see a lot of people come in and they might think that they're really strong or they're really good at some other sport, so they must be really good at this one, at jiu-jitsu. And then they feel disappointed if they don't do very well. And you see a lot about what goes through a person or how they tackle failure when they don't do very well in jiu-jitsu when they assume that they should. And I'm hooked because for me, I feel like I have a great relationship with failure. For me, failure is a way to learn more about myself and um, to enjoy getting better at something. For me, I like the journey. So every day you go in and maybe a small win is a better position than what you're doing like in the grappling stance. But most of the time you're losing. If 100% of 3 hours is like you doing jiu-jitsu, 100% of the time you're not winning. 95% of the time you're actually losing, and maybe 5% of the time you're winning. And
Mm.
so it's about your attitude towards what do you do when you get into when you face being beat down all the time. Do
Mm.
you self-reflect and work on something that you're really good at? Do you ask people for support, or do you just come in and have more time on the mat so that you can perfect it?
Entering something like that, moving your body in a certain way, it really just stretches you, it challenges you, right? And I think that is like the best way to grow. Those situations where you're really nervous, but you do it anyways. And that's, I think, one of the things I love about not just dance, but like trying new activities in general.
Absolutely. Yes, honestly, that is the best way. That is the best mindset, because the way you have to think about it, because a lot of people feel this way too when they try out new hobbies. But the way that you think about it is that you're already there.
Mhm.
You're already winning against somebody who's not there. So for you to be in that situation is a good thing.
Exactly. Yeah. It's really hard to start though, and I get that.
So just to circle back on what I was trying to say, in jiu-jitsu, you have to work hard. Yes, you have to show up. That's the first thing, is that you show up no matter if you win or lose. And you have to have a great relationship with uh, failure and your attitude towards failure. And you have to learn to not quit when it gets rough. And you never stop. So those are lessons in jiu-jitsu as well as lessons in life that are so transferable. And I think that's kind of why I love it, because you kind of get addicted to the journey of what could happen if you keep going.
Yeah, it's because it's like one of those things, like especially a sport like that, you know, or learning any new thing, picking up any new skill, you aren't going to be good at it right away, right? You start somewhere and then, but if you keep showing up, it's like, where are you going to be 5 years down the road? From what I gather from your, like, just your photos and that. So I
Are
feel
you
like,
a shorty?
guess how tall I am.
No way. Are you serious? Are you like only 5 foot? 5 foot? Is that what they say? Are you, do you, what's your metrics
Yeah,
in
we use
Canada?
foot. Yeah, foot.
Okay. Please don't tell me you're 5 feet tall. 5'1" is 154. Yeah, I reckon you're around 154 centimeters.
You're right.
Am I really? I only guessed because because your face when I said please don't tell me you're only 5 feet, and you were like and I was like, oh, I was close.
five 5 feet 1.5. Okay, so okay, if I were to guess, hold on, let me just put it into a converter. I'm gonna guess you are like five, um, maybe like 5'7" to 5'9". Let me just go
I have no idea what that is.
foot 2 centimeters. Okay, let's just say you're 5'8". So that's, I think you're approximately 172 centimeters.
Yeah.
Am I right?
You're pretty close.
Oh, nice. Yeah.
That's kind of
Okay.
creepy. How'd you know?
That's
You're.
just what you look like.
How did you know?
That's just what I feel like.
You are so
That's just.
creepy. No, it's a good talent to
Oh
have.
my gosh.
I'd be like, Steph, how tall is this girl?
Yeah.
Steph, look at this girl. This is your talent. This is your
That's
hidden talent.
so Jay, I'm just wondering, like it sounds like you're pretty consistent with your practice schedule, like getting on the mats. You have your couple days where you do your training for strengthening. I'm just wondering, like, is that how do you do that? How do you stay consistent with that? Because, as somebody who maybe is looking at developing kind of a healthy fitness routine for themselves, but they don't know where to start, how did you build that consistency over time?
I think the last episode you talked about building healthy habits. I think that was one of the topics we talked about. And then I mentioned how with posting on social media, if I don't stay consistent, I kind of get FOMO, like that
Mm,
fear of what could happen if I stayed consistent, or if I had done that, am I missing out on something? And it's that mindset that if I don't show up, how does that affect me in the long run? Or if I'm not there tonight, is there somebody who's going to be there tonight, who's going to whose journey in jiu-jitsu, for example, is going to be better than mine the next day? Or it's the mindset of, if I skip tonight, then am I going to skip tomorrow night? Am I going to
mm,
skip next week? And it's just, I guess it's a fear. We were talking about fearing failure, and learning to love the feeling of failure. But I think, I don't even know how to word it. I feel like it's an obsession. Is it unhealthy?
mm,
I think it's an obsession. I think I'm obsessed with turning up and showing up and being
mhm.
there. And
Because there's somebody
perhaps,
that's right behind you that is going to creep up if you don't push.
yeah, I guess so. Definitely.
Mm,
So I stay consistent by just a mindset that if I'm not there, then maybe somebody who is there would have a better chance at whatever it is, getting better at the sport than I am.
mm,
I feel like that's like the golden question, isn't it? How do
yeah.
you stay consistent?
I think I've always been an active person, although when it comes to staying consistent with just working out in general, that was definitely something that I struggled with. I think there's a lot of few shifts, and a lot of them I think had to just do with mindset. Like, I used to work out for body image. I used to work out for the goal of looking a certain way. Um, but that came from a very like negative space. It's not a great space to be working towards, for me, anyways. Um, when I kind of shifted my mindset to thinking that no, it's actually more about how I feel. It's more about me helping myself become the best version of myself through fitness, right? Having that consistency, because that also translates to every other aspect in my life as well, right? When it comes to work, side projects, things like that. And really, when I found out that why I work out, it's more about trying to be the healthiest version of myself so that I actually envision myself as like 90 years old and I am in a sunny place somewhere on a beach and I'm holding like 1 pound dumbbells and I have ankle weights. And it's 9 a.m. and I'm doing my daily 9 a.m. walk with the other like old people in the area. Our
The
walking
retirement
group. Yeah,
village.
they're exactly. And So like I envision, that's kind of where I want to be, like in terms of health, right? To be walking on my own, to be independent. And so I always, when I think to that future self, I can, like in this timeline that we are, I'm like, well, then if that's who I want to be physically, like what do I need to do now to be able to get there? So that's kind of what I think about every time I'm kind of trying to negotiate with myself when it comes to, do I go to the gym today or not?
I love that.
Mm-hmm.
That is the perfect that mindset where you envision, you have a 5 year, 10 year goal, when you just envision your future self and feel or see the results of your actions today. That's the best way to motivate yourself, because
Exactly.
time goes by so fast. Next minute you are that old and you're like, wow.
Oh, exactly. I know. It's hard to see right now, right? Like when it comes to building those routines of like, okay, I need to eat healthy, I need to be working out every day. It's hard when it's just today, right? Because I think there's that, again, when you're building those like new routines, you're negotiating with yourself all the time. How do I feel? Should I go? Should I skip? I'm kind of tired today, right? But I think what's helped me is that, because again, like I said, I'm an adventure girl. Like I want, like if you, Jay, were like, "Hey, Steph, like let's go skydiving tomorrow." I don't want to question my physical ability, right? If my friend was like, let's go on a 7 hour hike, tomorrow, I want to be like, heck yeah, like let's do it, right? Like I want to be at that level where I just don't want to be scared. So are you, it sounds like then, do you do this recreationally or are you like competing in some sort of like tournament?
I definitely don't professionally like I don't professionally compete, but we talked about how turning up and having FOMO when you're not there, having a chance to compete just accelerates your progress in the sport.
Mm.
And when for example, you talk about dance, when you know that you have a dance recital at the end of the year, of course, you're going to work a little bit harder to make sure that that performance is as best as you can. And it's the same with competing, but now you have stakes and a little bit more pressure so that you have to keep yourself accountable. And as I always relate my experience as a woman, having competitions is really the only time where, as a woman, you don't have to feel bad or um, feel like you have to be too friendly with your opponent. It's so different because when you go face to face with a woman on the mats in a competition, you just want to win and you don't really care how they're going to feel afterwards or what they'll think of you afterwards. Whereas the gym culture might be a little bit different because you don't want to always hurt your training partner at your personal gym. Like, because you're going to see them every week.
Yeah.
So it's also another different experience where you feel like you can go all out and not have to deal with like repercussions of hurting your training partner's feelings afterwards.
Mm.
Apart from end of year dance recital stuff, have you ever competed in dance or anything else?
So I would say I've always done dance for fun. And when it comes to competitions, I feel like I've done maybe just a couple where they're like festivals or where you sort of get graded on that piece that you've been working on. So, yes, I have done a few, but that was so long ago. Yeah. But yes, you're right. I feel like similar to you, it sort of just takes it to that next level, right? Where you're doing extra training, you're doing extra just work to get competition ready, right? Yeah, because you got to know your stuff. Hmm.
Yeah, I like that word, competition ready.
Yeah,
Because absolutely, you have to work on your fitness, you have to work on your game plan, you have to scope out the
yeah,
competition,
mindset, everything. Yeah.
even diet. Sometimes some of my team members, like, they do weight cutting. It's
Hmm.
intense.
Yeah, that's crazy. So now we are heading into our goal setting segment of the show. And Jay and I are just getting our notepads and pens, and we are going to jot down a little goal for the 2024 year. And I think let's maybe do it around something that we talked about today, whether it's that you are entering competition season and there's a goal that you're looking forward to pursuing, whether you are somebody who is looking to develop healthy habits and you want to set a goal around something like staying consistent, whatever it is, let's do that together right now. And then Jay and I will share our goals together for you guys. So, Jay, why don't you tell us a little bit about the goal you had set for yourself?
So my goal is to win a match at blue belt level in a competition this year. I've never competed as a blue belt, so this is my first time competing as a blue belt. So it's the next level above white belt. And I just want to win one match. I don't even care about getting a medal or being on the podium. I just want to be able to achieve one win where they hoist. I just want to achieve one win where they hoist my hand up and say that I've won in that tournament, so in that comp. What about you, Steph? What's your goal?
So my goal is I kept it really simple for myself, and because I always believe in like the small wins, right? It's like the small habits. Really, when it comes to doing something big, like going to the gym 7 days a week, it's all about, well, what are you doing? Like, what's your nighttime routine? What's your morning routine? Like, it's those like little things. So for me, I am wanting to do a little bit more of like an outdoor walk during the work week. I do it sometimes, but I wouldn't say that I'm super consistent at it because sometimes I will just like work through lunch, right? Because it's like very easy for me to do that. And just finding that time to step away and just enjoy the outdoors a little bit. I had a little side one too because you've actually like motivated me. I don't do a lot of competitions. Like I said before with my dance, I'm kind of intrigued because I feel like that would really push me. But I don't know what I would compete in, but I'm stay tuned. That's a side a side note.
We always say that if you want to compete, as long as you're doing it for fun, because you genuinely think it's going to be a fun experience for you,
Yeah,
then it's a great idea.
I love it. So to end off our segment, we have some Spitfire questions for Jay. And so, what it is that we end off every episode with 5 questions to get to know each other a little bit more. Because I'm the host today, I get to ask Jay 5 questions. So, the rule is you have to answer this question in a sentence or less, and it has to be fast. So, first question: if you could only eat one food for the rest of your life, what would it be?
Bread.
Bread? Okay, all right. So much to unpack there, but okay, moving on. What's your favorite movie?
Spirited Away.
Spirited Away. I love that movie too. When you were 10 years old, what did you want to be when you grew up?
An astronaut.
Oh, cute. What is your guilty pleasure?
Chocolate. More
Chocolate.
specifically, Nutella.
Mm.
I eat a lot of Nutella. Like I could probably finish a 1 kilogram jar in a week. I know it's bad.
What do you like? What do you eat that with?
On bread, obviously. I just like.
What are 3 words that you would describe yourself as?
Oh, I'm curious. I'm emotional, and I'm goofy.
Love it, love it. Well, thank you so much, Jay, for playing. I feel like, yeah, every week we just kind of get to know each other a little bit more. And yeah, for those listeners who are maybe just tuning in to this episode for the first time and are just getting to know us too, because I know sometimes, yeah, like we don't necessarily go in order. And if you're finding us here today, Jay is from Australia and I'm from Canada. And we've never met. We are two strangers that are getting to know each other that started a podcast together. So this is just our way to kind of have girl chats over coffee and really inspire you to try new things, meet new people. And we hope that you'll join us next time on We Should Have Coffee.
Also, clarification, we've never met in person.
In person, yes. Mm-hmm,
Physically.
mm-hmm,
Remember
definitely.
when your mum said, don't talk to strangers? Well, that's what we did.
And then we started a podcast together. Because why not? All right,
Bye.
see you guys later. Bye.